everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make some DIYs using regular clothespins. These are about 3 inches in length. I got these at Dollar Tree. You can get these just about anywhere. You get 60 of these for $1.25, and I didn't even use 2 full packs for all the DIYs I'm doing today. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Right, next up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would hit that button. Okay, for this first one, we're just going to start with some regular size clothespins. These measure about 2 7/8. You can use whatever size you want, but you're going to need 15 of them. If you have a bigger clothespin, your project will just be a little bit bigger. And then you want to start taking the little spring clip off. And actually, after I started working with these a little bit, if you just twist them, they'll start coming off. I'm making it look a little bit hard here, but you'll see here in a little bit when I get a little bit farther into it that I learned a little bit quicker how to remove all those. But you're going to remove all 15 of them. And then save the little spring parts for another project. Okay, next I'm just using some regular wood glue, and I'm just going to glue these back together exactly how they came apart. Just make sure that your little circles in the center are all lined up, because you want to make sure that these are all exactly the same length. And I'm not putting a lot of glue on these. I'm just kind of gluing it in 3 sections, but you definitely want to put enough glue on there for these to hold together. Now you could use regular hot glue if you want to, but you're not going to get as tight of a fit on these if you do. And then after you get all 15 of them glued back together, you're just going to set them aside and just let those dry. Now, when you're setting them down, like I'm setting them down on paper, you might want to move them just to make sure that they're not sticking to the paper and that the glue is not oozing out the back. So you want to make sure that you move them around a little bit, because you don't want glue all over the back of them. I mean, you don't want your paper stuck to all to the back of them. And if you want to clamp these, you can. I felt like that they got a tight enough fit, just kind of squeezing them together like I'm doing. But if you don't feel like you're getting them closed together good enough, you can clamp these. Next, we're going to glue our first 3 together, and we're going to glue the middle clothespin right up to the bottom edge of the clothespin and that groove right there. And you're just going to glue 3 of these together. We're making a cross. And then you're going to make 4 more exactly like that one. Just make sure that the bottoms line up good, because you want it to be even. Now, if you have some freezer paper or some wax paper, it's really good to put this on that while you're doing this, because it won't stick to the glue. And I didn't figure that out until my last project. But if you have one that starts to kind of come apart a little bit and it needs a little assistance, you can use the little Dollar Tree clamps just to clamp it together. Just make sure that you are putting plenty of the wood glue on there, because you want it to hold together. These are all real inexpensive crafts, and these are super fun to do. You could do these with your kids and your grandkids as well. They would love this. And you could paint all these separately if you wanted to begin with, or you could even stain them. Now that you got 5 of them assembled, we're going to just attach 2 of them together by pushing that inside of there and squeezing that together. And then just let this dry. Next, I'm using some 5-gallon stir sticks and some pieces of a stir stick that I have. And I'm putting my pieces together. I'm going to mark them, and then I'm going to cut my board short. This is how this is going to assemble, just like this. Just kind of mark about maybe 1 inch overhang on both sides. And then we're just going to cut this off. So I'm coming right in at the handle on those, and then I'm going to take them out to my saw and I'm going to cut them short. Next, lay out your pieces. You're coming down about 1/2 inch from the top. Put your 2 side pieces on. All of these pieces are going to overlap. So you want to get them on here first so you can mark your board so you know exactly where that center cross part is going to be. Once you get it exactly like you want it, then go ahead and take the other 2 off, mark your boards, and that's where we're going to glue these on at. And I'm just going to take a popsicle stick and some wood glue to glue these on. I'm just putting some glue across the popsicle stick. Then I'll put a little bit of glue on both pieces to attach it. And you don't need a lot of glue, because the popsicle stick's what's really going to hold all this together. Just push it right on there and let that dry. Next, I'm going to take some burnt umber paint and a paintbrush, a sponge brush, and I'm just going to go over it pretty quickly just to give it like a little stain look. Just make sure that you get your paint strokes really good, because you don't want to see any lines. Just kind of make sure that you kind of take some time, get this pretty smoothed out. And you're going to do the front, the back, and the sides. That's dried. We're going to assemble our cross onto here, and then we're just going to take some wood glue to attach this. Just kind of line it up real good, get it exactly where you need it to be, and then we're going to glue it. Next, we're just going to use some wood glue to attach this to the back. Now, try not to put too much glue because you don't want a lot of oozing out, but try to get enough on there where each piece does have a little bit of glue on it. And then once you get it set, just push it down there. You don't need to clamp it. And then grab a Q-tip and just kind of wipe out any areas that got glue through it that you can see. And then you're going to glue the other 3 areas exactly the same way. Just kind of be a little bit light on the glue. And you're just lining it right even with that other one above it. Just make sure that you do have a cross in the center when you get done. And then set this aside to dry for a couple of hours. Next, I got this little torch kit from Lowe's, and I'll give you a link for one similar from Amazon that's a lot less. And you just turn it on, push the button, and then your flame comes out, and then you can just kind of lightly burn whatever it is you're working on. You want to kind of stay a little bit away from it. Just kind of get it in brushing strokes. You don't want to burn in one place. I did end up catching it on fire a little bit, but it was just a small fire, and I did just blow that out. So don't be afraid of these because they're easy to use, and they do create a nice effect. And that right there, I just blew that out. So just watch what you're doing. Just kind of keep the flame going and kind of move it in different directions until you get it burned like you want it. And I did the sides of mine as well. Okay, for this next one, you're going to use quite a few of these little clothespins. And again, you're just going to start taking them apart. And then be sure and save the little spring part. You can connect these and make a chain with these. You could use these on so many other projects. Don't throw them away, just hang on to them. For this project, you're going to use about 12 of the clothespins, and you're going to start gluing them back together exactly like they were before you took the spring off. You just don't have the spring on there, and you're going to do 4 of these this way. We're making a chair for a planter, and this is going to be the bottom part of the chair where you sit. Just kind of get it as smooth as you can. Don't put too much glue and really press those together. And you're going to attach 4 of these together just like that. But do push them together. Make sure that they are even. And then just start gluing them together till you have 4 for the bottom seat. And I'm not using wood glue because I'm not putting this outside. This is going to go in my kitchen. And then just set that aside to dry. For the backrest, we're going to take 8 of these, and we're just going to line them up straight behind each other. So just stick it like that. And you're going to do all 8 of them exactly the same way. Just line them up. All of them are going to be facing the exact same way. Just make sure that you do get the bottom of them straight because we are going to have them available to glue. You need a lot of meat on it to get it put onto the back part of that chair. And you're only putting it on the bottom part of that clothespin. Okay, next we're going to attach the back to the bottom, and we're just coming right up against the edge, and we're centering this into the middle. And just put a little bit of glue across there, or put a pretty good shot of glue across there, and then just hold that until it dries. Just make sure that it is straight. I know mine doesn't look like it is, but I'm kind of at a diagonal. Okay, for the sides of the chair, you're going to take 2 of the clothespin. We're going to glue them together exactly like they were before we removed the spring, and we're going to do 2 of these. Just make sure that these are even. You want to make sure that you spend some time getting them pretty even. And you want to, if you have some that are not the same size, you probably want to replace them. We're going to build the armrest. We're going to kind of go right into the center of this one with that. And it's going to end up kind of sitting up like that. So just kind of get a measurement on it and then glue that armrest on. And we're kind of getting right into the center with that one. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other side. You want to make sure that they do match. And you're turning the little groove area to the back. So that little curve actually just sits right down inside of that clothespin. Attach the arm to the chair. We are going to put a little bit of glue right underneath the two notches. So right there. And then you're just going to put it kind of centered onto the side of your chair. And then just hold that till it dries, and you're going to do exactly the same thing with the other side. Just kind of make sure it is standing up straight. And then put the other one on exactly the same way, and you want to make sure that they are even so that when your chair stands up, it does stand up straight. Okay, then to attach it to the bottom part, the little leg part, you're just going to put the little clothespin with the groove side up with the groove facing forward. And we're going to glue right behind that groove with that clothespin. Just set it right behind the groove on both sides. And this will give it like a little rocking, it'll rock too. It's kind of cute. But just let those dry real good, because that's going to be the main important part of your chair. Next, I'm going to take some burnt umber paint, and I'm going to take a chip brush, and I'm just going to lightly dust this chair just to give it a little bit of a distressed look to it. So dip your paintbrush in your paint, kind of wipe off the excess, and then just kind of lightly start going over it until you get it as distressed as you want to. Or you could even paint these certain colors. I mean, for Easter, I think these would be even cute with some pastels. And just kind of get into the grooves with it. The chip brush works really good to get into some grooves. And we're just kind of not, just giving it a little bit of color. We're not painting the entire thing. I'm just using mine for a little plant stand. I got one of these little succulents at Michael's. Right now they're on sale for 99 cents. And I'm just going to put a pretty generous amount of glue on it. And I'm going to set it right towards the front part of my chair. All right, and that was pretty easy. And then they rock too, I'll show you. See, look how cute that is. Okay, for this next one, we're going to use about 16 clothespins, and we're going to separate them just like we did the last one. We're also going to use some 10mm beads with this, and we're going to put one in the bottom groove of each one of these. And you're going to need 32 of those beads. And just make sure you get enough hot glue on there that they do stay. And then we're going to start assembling them by turning them sideways and gluing the bottoms together. We're going to make a complete circle with these. And you could have painted these before you started putting it together if you wanted to. I'm not going to paint mine, but you could paint it. But if you do paint it, I'd recommend you do it before you start putting all the beads in there together. And then you're just going to keep going all the way around until you have a complete circle. And this really didn't take that long to do. It went pretty fast. And if you lay your sticks out and start putting all your beads on there ahead of time, just kind of go down an assembly line, it makes it go a lot faster.
And this is about the largest bead that you would probably get on here, which would be a 10 millimeter. And then just keep attaching those until you get all the way into a circle. And I'm going to go fast on this, but I kind of want you to see what I'm doing.
And these really don't take that long to put together. If you use wood glue, though, they're super strong. And I am making a planter holder out of this one, so it will hold a nice plant. And you can also use these in your kitchen if you want to just put like a hot pan on it. These are nice little trivets. And they make great gifts. Okay, now the last one, it doesn't completely fill in the whole circle right there, but I am going to take a 3-inch little wood disc that's about an 1/8 inch thick, and I'm going to glue it right to the center, and then that will tie all that together. And I'm just going to use regular hot glue on this. Now, if you're going to use this in your kitchen to put a hot plate on or a pan on it, you definitely want to use wood glue for that part right there. I'm making mine as a riser, so I am going to attach a piece of wood to the back. I got that wood piece at Michael's. It measures 5 inches by 3/4 inches, and I'm putting wood glue on every single one of the clothespins on the back to hold this together. And you don't want to skip on this part if you're going to use this like this, because you want to make sure that this all holds together well. But you don't want to put so much glue that it oozes through. Just kind of get it covered real good, and then just put your little wood round on top of that and let that dry. Just kind of push it down there in the center. Make sure you got it centered. And you could have painted this. I didn't paint mine. I left it kind of natural color. I got these little wooden legs at Hobby Lobby. They're in like the woodcraft area. And I'm just going to glue 4 of them onto the back of this as a riser. And I'm just using the wood glue for this, and I am putting a really good amount on these because you're not going to see it from the underside. But you do want to kind of just space them out into like a square so that they are kind of even. And then just set that aside and let that dry good.
Next, I decided to come in and add a little bit of color. I'm taking some of that burnt umber paint, and I'm just kind of lightly going over this to make it look like stain. And you could do this before you glued it on. I don't know why I didn't think about it. And then the same thing on my little stand. I'm going to paint the sides, the bottom, and then I'm going to paint the little legs as well. And really, this wasn't hard to do. It's sometimes when you stain something and you start using the wood glue too, it doesn't adhere as well. So I would, on the base part, I would adhere it first, and then you can put your stain on it. And if you are using this for like a trivet, I did glue the little beads in there, and I didn't mention that a minute ago when I said you need to probably use wood glue on top for the little circle disc. You need to use wood glue for the beads as well, because if you put something hot on there, they're just going to melt away. Took it outside and I did the torch on it as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of separation. Now, I didn't really think about it because I had hot glued my beads in there, but actually they stayed together. So when those little clothespins are pushed together with that bead, it's pretty much going to stay in there anyways. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope it gave you some inspiration. If you'd like to see more of these clothespin projects, let me know. I have a lot of them that I can offer. If you like this kind of video, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time. Thanks for watching.